What's going on, people? Your boy E-Buck here in the building. This is I Am Nighthawk. Yeah, I know you wonder where's all the bells and whistles and whatnot. Having some technical difficulties, so we basically just jump right into it this evening. Why not? That kind of show, that kind of life. Okay, so here's the deal. Tonight we are talking about respect and things that we should be doing in this country, as opposed to some of the stuff that's actually going on in this country. And then I'm also going to give you some insight into why I have decided to step away from I Am Nighthawk for good after a certain date, which I will tell you that date later on in the show. Very soon, actually. So that being said, let's get straight to it. Thanks all of you who are tuning in either now or later on down the line. We appreciate you very much. I need to double check to make sure I'm actually on the air, by the way. So let me do that. Yep, we are good to go. So if you have any comments that you want to add to the show, feel free to type them in or type them in the comments here on my Facebook. I will be able to see them and I will acknowledge them as they come in. Okay, that being said, let's talk respect. Okay. Actually, this conversation came up about a month ago in regards to a certain group of people that we're going to discuss now. Keep in mind, today is December 7th, 2025. If you know your history, particularly your American history, then you know that 84 years ago today, there was the attack on Pearl Harbor, where we as a military had lost more people, almost 3,000 lives. Actually, I think it is a little bit around 3,000. We lost that many people that day on the surprise attack early in the morning, December 7th, 1941, as the date of which the president, who of course was FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, said the day that will live in infamy. Because to this day, we still remember, or at least we should remember, what happened that fateful day in Hawaii when we lost all those soldiers and basically incorporated ourselves into what became the Second World War. Now, understand, I was watching a report today and it says about 15 to 20 people, just those 15 to 20 people that were military at that time are still currently alive here in America or around the world in terms of actual American military. Okay. I'm pretty sure it's probably more in Japan, but not that much more. Understand, we're talking 84 years ago, where a lot of those people were just 18 or 19 years old. So a lot of those people now are like in their hundreds. So imagine having lived through that. There are people who are actually there that day that did not unalive and are here to literally tell that story, but very few of them. And then imagine, when we talk about people in their hundreds, how many of them are still in a total recall mind to where they can articulate exactly what happened that day. I'm pretty sure for those who are left, they still will not forget that day as long as they live. I know I wouldn't if I had been there. That being said, we are talking about our veterans, okay? Our people who signed up and said, yes, I will protect and serve this country to my best ability. I will fight. I will fight till I can no more. Now, unfortunately, we lost some of those people along the way, obviously. But then we do have a lot of those people still among us. Let me give you a quick synopsis, some information, if you will. Right now, here in these United States of America, there are currently, according to my Google search, about, hold on, give me a second, about between 15 and 18 million people who are serving or have served in the armed forces here in the United States. That basically accounts for about one out of every 20 people who live here in America. Okay. Now, I know the answer to this flat out for some of y'all. If you were to be asked point blank, flat out, would you serve in the military and protect and serve and handle all business no matter what? The majority of you, that includes me, the majority of us, would say, nah, I don't think so. I'm good. I'm not willing to put that above all else. So, knowing this, knowing we feel this way, and of course, that includes our current president who felt that way, that's why he ain't go. We now look at those people who did serve and are our veterans. And many of them are not getting the proper respect that they deserve, plain and simple, okay? We are not showing our veterans the type of love and support that they rightfully deserve. Think about this, good people. We have these people in this country who are served our military, whether it be for their just basic commitment of 2 to 4 years, or basically did a whole 20-year bid and retired out of the military. And they are now here in the United States, and some of them are struggling to eat. Some of them are homeless. Some of them are not getting proper medical care. And I say to you, why is that the case? Okay, we are talking about a country that just paid another country billions upon billions of dollars to help support whatever the hell they got going on over there in their country. But right here in these United States, where we pay our taxes as people, we, the people, are suffering. And among us, the people who, with all is said and done, and something jumps off, those will be the first people who will be like, hey, go get them. Save us from them. But when it comes to us saving them from us, we are not doing right by those people, okay? It is a sad indictment of our country that anybody who has served our country, and if you are any of those people looking right now, let me say first and foremost, thank you for your service, okay? Thank you very much, because you are doing the work that many of us would not. But secondly, we deserve to do better by you guys, okay? My flat out opinion is this. If you have served this country to that magnitude, you should never find a day for the rest of your natural life where you are hungry, in need of a home, in need of a job, in need of any type of transportation. All those things should be covered, okay? And if they are not, the problem is us. The problem is us, plain and simple, okay? You know there are places where, okay, oh, you're a veteran? Yeah, here's a discount on this and that. Are you a veteran? Okay, you can sit here in the front. I think it should be better still, okay? Think about some of the countries outside the United States, because when I had these discussions, y'all, I don't just think about us, the United States. I think about us, the world, okay? And in other parts of the world, let's just say the Olympians, for example. There are certain Olympians who, if they are Olympians and they win gold medals in their country, they basically get set up for the rest of their life, okay? They are viewed as the best of the best among us and get treated as such, okay? Think about some of our pro athletes, the athletes that win championships in their cities, and then they can go back to that city and literally be like, oh no, you so and so, you the MVP, you ain't got to pay for nothing. Yeah, you the coach of so and so and so. It's on us. By all means, come to the front of the line. Do this, do this. Can I get your autograph? All of that, okay? Understand, there's none of that. No Olympians, no athletes, no any of those type of people without the people that protect and serve, okay? If they do not do what they do, none of those people can do what they do. So knowing that, why do they get the secondhand treatment as opposed to some of those people? Not that they may not be worthy that some of those other people, but I'm saying our veterans in our military, particularly those who have served the entire 20-year bid, why are they not set up to succeed no matter what? Okay, because they did the ultimate sacrifice. There are some people that made that commitment and they did not come home, or they came home but in a box or worse. Okay, those military families, they were compensated to some degree, as they should have been. But in the same time, for those who survived, for those who still have the memories of watching some of the people that they served with no longer be here and live that nightmare in their head every day for the rest of their lives, that PTSD that we often talk about, that some people misdiagnose for themselves. No, the real PTSD is the people who are military who lived through that. The people that lived through Vietnam, the people who lived through the Gulf War, the people that lived through Afghanistan, and so on and so forth. Just on the strength of what they have gone through, they should be getting special rental treatment. In my mind. Now, I know you say, E-Buck, now you know some of these people do get treatment. They got the GI Bill and they got special benefits and you get a pension after 20 years in the military. I understand all of that. What I'm saying is it's not sufficient. It is not enough. There was a point in time where you did not have an option as to whether or not you were going to be military. You had to sign your name on the dotted line at 18 as a man. Okay? Because crazily enough, at that time, there was no female to be military. Okay? They had to fight for the right to fight. And knowing that they had to go through all that extra just to get there, you would think you would look out for them maybe even more so. Okay? It's the reason why we have the Rosie Riveters and whatnot, is because they were not allowed to be in the military, but still wanted to help the country in some way, shape, or form. So they were the people that end up working in the factories, making the tanks and the uniforms and whatnot. And that was their contribution. And then eventually were allowed to finally be in the military and fight alongside the men, even though to this day, a lot of them get disrespected and don't get the proper due that they deserve for making that sacrifice. Because like I said, I'm a grown-ass man and all of that, but if you put the gun in my hand like, go fight for us, I'm like, no, I'm good. Okay? So if you, regardless of who you are, male, female, or otherwise, say, yeah, I'm not good, hand me the gun, I got us. I got our back. We, in turn, as the people, should have their back too. Okay? It's as simple as that. It is cut and dry as that to me. We really should be doing a better job of taking care of our military once they have taken care of us, okay? Now, granted, we supposed to be the richest country on the planet, right? We got billions of dollars to give people in other countries for humanitarian aid, to give other countries for military aid, for rebuilding their countries, so on and so forth. But we are not using the money that we should use it for here in this country for the people that we should use it for. I don't even want to hear that. Okay, well, we can't afford to do this, this, and that. It's a flat out lie. It's a lie. If we getting taxed what we are getting taxed, especially us single people that get taxed about 1/3 of everything we earn, we should at least see that money go to things that we would want it to go to. I don't know what type of hateful villain of a person you would be if somebody proposed a bill and said, okay, this is for the military. If you basically serve for, let's just say, 5 years, and you do your full service and you are not negatively discharged and whatnot, Once you get out, you should be able to do whatever, and we should pay for it. I honestly and fully believe that. We should pay for your housing. We should pay for your car. We should pay for your education if you choose to do that. We should pay for your home. You should not have to pay any of those bills. If you need food, you should automatically get a card. Not even an EBT card. That ain't even sufficient. I say, hell, give them a car and it's like, look, I'm buying this. It's just me. Here my car, here my ID. There you go, sir. I don't give a damn if 300, 400, $500 food. Because bottom line, we don't have none of that without these people. Should they get special treatment to that extent? Yes, the hell they should. They have earned that right. Because they're doing something we choose not to do. We don't have the gumption, the courage, the strength, physical labor, whatever the case may be. We, the people, should be taking care of them. There should not be any such thing as homeless veteran. That should be a phrase that does not exist in this country, particularly. We can spend over $1 trillion for said military, but we can't use some of that same money to take care of said military. Understand, that's 1/20th of every person in this country, okay? Now you're saying if they did it like that, maybe everybody would sign up to be military. No, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't. And again, it don't account for the people that just basically went in there, did their thing right quick, and left out. I'm not saying so much for them. They should still get looked out for, but not to that degree. I'm talking about the people that have done the 5 years, the 10 years, the 20-year bid, the people that are lifetime military, especially the people that's been military 30, 40 years, and they still military. They shouldn't have to pay for a damn thing. They should walk in like, I'm General such and such and such. What would you like to eat, sir? It's on us. Flat out. Now you're saying, okay, restaurants and whatnot. Well, we can't afford that type of stuff. Well, all the military people, blah, 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 blah. You know, Congress got a way to work all that out. We're like, okay, well, military people, blah, 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 fill out these forms. These are military people. Yeah, it'll be some people that'll deal with it wrongly. We know that. But it's ways to fix and around all these things. People find these loopholes all the time. Why can't they find the right way to do the right thing? Plain and simple, y'all. So as the people are popping in and out of the feed, we will get to that part of the show. I do have something to say about that there. But the long and short of it is we need to do better by our military people. Again, I can only speak for me in the end, and I appreciate your service, and I wish there was more that we could do for you guys, and we really should try to do more if we can. All right, that's group one that I feel is not getting enough respect. Group two, I feel that's not getting enough respect because tonight we're doing a show with no commercials because right now I don't have the commercials to show. Well, I might have one right quick. Let me see. I do want you guys to tune in and check out my good friend, Queen Gemini, and her show Rumble Time. Here's that commercial. We'll be right back.
This is the story about an African-American woman who is passionate about professional wrestling and goes to countless events. She then, one day, gets the idea to start a wrestling talk podcast to talk about her favorite wrestlers and wrestling programs. She has a home podcasting room full of wrestling memorabilia that she uses to do the show, and every week you can tune in and join in the conversation.
All right, guys, we are back. This is I Am Nighthawk Pod Show. E-Buck in the building talking to y'all. All right, good people, here's the deal. The second group of people that we need to have a little bit more respect and do a little bit more for are our people who have reached the ripe age of elderly. In other words, the people who have reached that age of 62, 65 and have lived a long and prosperous life here in these United States, okay? We know that the United States consists of over about 350 million people, depending on who you believe, and census forms and whatnot. Then you could add another 20, 25 million, depending on who you believe. If people then snuck into that country that amount, you know that's a very exaggerated amount, by the way. You know that, right? But anyway, we have that many people living amongst us. Again, let me go to the statistics right quick, as I looked up a couple of those also for this particular topic. Right now in these United States, good people, we have about 20 million people who are over the age of 65, give or take a couple million. Census not always a very accurate account of who is who and what is what, but according to the latest, we have about that many people in the United States over the age of 62 to 65. Okay, now the way our country is set up now, with some exceptions, because of course people are incarcerated, things of that nature, the vast majority of those people are set up to automatically receive Social Security based upon how much you have worked and what you have put into the system over the years. Okay? Now, I know some of you will argue if a person never worked and lived to be 65, do they have the right to Social Security? My answer is if you are an American citizen, yes, you should get some type of benefits. Should we all get the same benefits? We should all get the same basic benefits, yes. Should those basic benefits be better? Answer to that, also yes. Let me expound on that thought, shall we? All right. First of all, if you are age 65 and you have lived long enough in this country, you should have the automatic right to the following. One, we know about the SNAP benefits. You should automatically get full SNAP benefits, period. Okay? You have earned that right in my mind. You may disagree. If you do, feel free to put it in the comments. Let's have a debate, a discussion about it. That's part of what the platform is here for, to talk about these things. If you are in that age group and have lived here in this country, I feel you have the right to full health care. Did you hear what I said? Full health care. In other words, you should not have to pay a damn dime for any of it. All you should have to do is be like, this is me. This is my ID. I need to be seen. Look out for me. Test me for this. Give him a flu shot, this shot, and whatnot. Now you saying, that's doing too much. You mean to tell me them 20 million people should get free health care? I mean to tell you we all should be getting some form of free health care. Every other major... Every time I think about this, I get mad. Every other major country on planet Earth has some form of universal health care. We know this. I'm talking about Japan, China, Russia, Canada, Australia, big parts of Africa. Full universal health care. We the only major country on planet Earth that's so freaking greedy that we cannot allow that to go on. That we got to have you pay something, some deductible, some copay, something. I'm saying if you didn't put yourself in the workforce and paid 40 plus years into said workforce, and now you have reached the ripe age of 62 to 65, I'm saying you should have earned the right to try to extend your life as long as you can, because you have put in the necessary to help make this country better or great, as some people would like to say. You have done your thuggism. You should be alive to get full coverage. Okay. Now, granted, yeah, they have discounts for seniors and whatnot. Yeah, okay. Oh, that's fine and lovely and great. But again, it's not sufficient. It's not good enough. Now, here's the problem. If all that was to transpire, more than likely, more people would live beyond 65 to a greater degree. Is that a helpful thing in this country? Again, let me go back to a couple of these stats for y'all. All right. Like I said, it's about 18 to 20 million people in the United States over 65. Keep in mind, several of them are veterans. About two of those 18 to 20 million, counting that veteran population. So, according to my thoughts and my plans from the previous discussion, they already took care of, okay? So, we could take them out that mix. Now, it is said based on increased, oh, no, wait a minute, wrong stats. 18% of the population, okay? They said, considering the rapid growth of the country, et cetera, baby boomers expected to be 65 after 2030. They say at that point, according to these future projections, older adults 65 and older should make up about 21% of these United States. In other words, 1 out of every 5 persons would be 65 or older. So then you're saying, okay, if those people are 65, let's just say it's another 20% that's under 18. That leaves the other 60% to pay for both. Is that fair? Well, here's the thing. If we, as the people who got to be 65, have paid 40 years into the system, I think it's fair that we get what we put into it. Will you have to add your money to the stat to make that work? Probably so. But then you should be able to look forward to getting to that yourself, because as more people live longer and there's stats and things to say, okay, well, a lot of people living to be 80. Why is that? Let's talk to these 80 people. Let's test them. Let's see what they're doing to get to that point. Because most of us, we want to live as long as we possibly can, healthy and wise and in our good minds, right? That's what we want. So it's to our benefit that the older people thrive and keep going and keep living a good life, so that when it's our turn, we can have our turn. Again, if we got extra money to be giving countries and whatnot for space exploration and all that other stuff, why can't we not seem to find the money for what we should really be using it for? The people and the benefit of the people. Okay? That's what I'm saying. Why is that? Full SNAP benefits, full medical. Those two things. Housing, okay? Preferential housing for seniors is what I'm saying. I'm saying in every major city and metropolitan area in these United States, there should be someplace set up to where we can have our seniors being housed comfortably. I'm not talking about old folks' homes. I'm not talking about long-term facilities. No, I'm talking about actual apartments and co-ops and things of that nature, where seniors can live and thrive, where they can have people, and again, that's where the job market come into play, that are caregivers, much like we have now, where we have people that come and nurse older people. We should have it set up to where, okay, I'm gonna be a caregiver. Here's what I want to do. Okay, here's what you need to know. Here's what we're gonna pay you, so on, etc., etc. Now we will set you up with your seniors, and here you go. And all these things can work cohesively with one another to work these things out. But of course, it does not help that the other powers that be, they don't want too many old people. The old people taking up the room for the younger people. When COVID hit a few years ago, who did it affect the worst? The peoples on the margins and the older people, right? Those were the majority of the people that passed away from that. There are people to this day still suffering effects of long-term COVID. Okay? As older people, it should be a point to where, all right, we, sir, respect your gangster. We, ma'am, respect your gangster. You have lived this long. You deserve to truly enjoy the fruits of your labor. I'm not saying set them up like all of them to win the Powerball because they 65 or 62. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is they should not be struggling as an overall group to the extent that seniors do. Out of the people in this country that die from starvation and things of that nature, a good part of that group are our elderly. And that should not be the case. We should value them more. We as people should value elderly people more. I understand I'm saying this as a 55-year-old, basically on the verge thereof, but I felt that way even as a young man, as a very young man, okay? Now, granted, that don't mean every elderly person treats everybody the way they should, because they don't. Some of them be wilding out. And they do it purposely because they know, okay, I'm older. I could say stuff and probably get away with it more so than somebody 30 or 40 years younger than me. And they'll just chalk it up to, oh, he just old. He don't know what he's saying. More times than not, yeah, them old people be knowing what they saying. They know exactly what they saying. That's why a lot of us say, man, I can't wait till I get old and I can just speak my mind and it is what it is. I want us to all be able to say, I can't wait till I get old because then I could get my full benefit. I could sit down and relax and do me and be thankful for whatever life I have left and not have to worry because I'm fully taken care of by my country. Again, these ain't outlandish thoughts that I'm having. They do these types of things in other countries. They look out for their elderly way better in some of these other countries than we do. It is insane that we as a country just think that, yeah, this America, we do everything the best. We the greatest country ever, ever, ever. We don't do nothing wrong. Everything is good. All our insights are perfect. It's so much we can learn from our counterparts across the world to make this country even greater still. If you think it's great, think about how many of us whose origins come from other countries to begin with, to come here and be on this elitist bullshit, thinking we are that. And that basically I'm 25 to 50, I made $20,000. You can't tell me nothing. I'm incredible. I'm untouchable. And I have the greatest president ever right now. Some of y'all believe that. Y'all really do. Now look, again, we have technical difficulties tonight, so we kind of short on commercial breaks or whatnot. Definitely want to send a shout out to all our people at Nighthawk Network. We'll do that at the end, but gonna use this to take another quick little break. Then I'm gonna talk to y'all about why I Am Nighthawk had to go. I already announced that it was. I will now announce why I really felt that way, and most importantly, tell y'all when the very last episode of this show will be. Be back after this quick little break, y'all. All right, y'all, we are back. This is I Am Nighthawk Pod Show. Ebook, your host, is here talking to y'all about those groups that I felt should get more respect, more love, the seniors and our veterans. Hopefully y'all took some of that to heart and agreed, disagreed, got no commentary, but that's pretty much par for the course on this particular season of I Am Nighthawk. So let's talk about that, okay? As you know, I announced a few weeks ago that I am no longer going to be doing I Am Nighthawk, my signature podcast show. In other words, the show that more or less I started, because of course it's truthfully the spinoff of Get Off My Lawn that I was doing starting in April 2020. The reason why I stopped doing Get Off My Lawn was because I felt like it was all coming from a bad place. That it was a lot of complaining and just not happy about what I was seeing in life in general. And it was just me coming on to bitch and complain about stuff and see if y'all agreed. The difference is between that show and this show is that one, I wanted this to be more of an educational thing to kind of show y'all some things in life and talk about some things that weren't being talked about enough in mainstream media. I felt like it started that way. I felt for the most part it's been that way. But the difference is back then, during pandemic, a lot more people were free to have those discussions, had the time, had the thought process, just wanted an outlet to talk about things in general. Difference now is years later, we are here in 2025, and my podcast is one of probably some 100 million all across the country or the world, even, let's just say. Everybody got a podcast now. Everybody has an opinion that they want to express and put on film or on audio. Okay. The difference between the best podcasts I feel and the smaller ones are three things. One, the bigger podcasts have the bigger personalities and people. Okay. The Joe Rogans, the Club Shay Shays, the Obama podcast of the world, they have those entities that everybody know. They have the guests that everybody are interested in. They have the talk about things that only they can talk about and it be interesting because it's them. All right. Those are those podcasts. Two, you have the podcasts that talk about the people like that. Your entertainment podcast, your celebrity podcast, whatnot, where they talk about what people like Cardi B and Beyonce and all them are doing. And because they have access to those people or the people in their world, at least, you take an interest in that. I fit into the third category, the podcast people that are here and they are giving their perspective on whatever it is, whether it be culture, sports, politics, whatever. And we discuss things from how we feel. Okay. The difference between the bigger podcast in that realm and mine, I feel, is because one, they offer you something that I'm not offering. Okay. I'm just basic person A, as I always say in my work. I may know a little bit more about things than your average person. I might care a little bit more than your average person when it comes to certain things. But in the end, when you come on here, I say what I say. I'm not a lot of bells and whistles. I'm not like the most attractive person. Not ugly, but I'm not Denzel or anybody like that. Okay, I get it. I'm not a person that's extremely controversial in what I have to say. If I came on here when we can just say the most outlandish things just to see what would stick and go viral, because there are people out here, and that's basically why they want to do a podcast, because they want to say some stuff that's gonna have you be like, and clutch your pearls like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't say that. Oh, that's messed up. But see, this being the social media that I know, those are the people that get the work. Those are the people that get the views, okay? They say these outlandish, crazy things, and you can't wait to go on there to either be like, man, why you saying that? No, 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 no. Or girl, you crazy, blah, 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 blah. Or girl, I'm gonna sue you, whatever the case may be. All right. You can't wait to get on and see that so you could be a bully in the comments or be a part of the group that has something crazy to say also. I Am Nighthawk was never going to be that. Yes, sometimes I'm gonna say something that's different than what other people are saying. Yes, sometimes I'm gonna say things that you will say, okay, that kind of makes sense, but I feel different. What would have made I Am Nighthawk work was what made Get Off My Lawn work initially, which was more people in the comments with stuff to say, good, bad, or otherwise. Again, I was not intending on having a podcast where everybody agreed with every single thing I said. On the contrary, I wanted kind of the opposite. I wanted you to say, okay, well, I don't think that way about it. I think this way. I wanted us to have dialogue and learn from one another so that, okay, like, okay, I never saw it that way. Or, okay, I see my point, but I also see your point. See, the funny thing is in real life, with what I do now for a living, I'm able to have those conversations with people one on one or in small groups. And it comes to points of clarity and understanding and us saying, okay, kumbaya, or us saying, okay, I'm gonna have to agree to disagree. I just did not get that here. And because of that, that's when it started to jump the shark. Okay. Yeah, come on Sundays. And I felt like Sunday was a good night because a lot of people are in for the evening and getting ready for the week and whatnot. I'm on 9 o'clock. Granted, it's football season, so I know that's why some of y'all don't tune on me right now. Some of the people in the Nighthawk Network, they'll pop in later on or check it out later on. But right now, they watching football. I know it. It's okay. I ain't tripping. I got football on in here myself while I'm doing the show. But some of y'all took it different, which leads to the other reason why I'm no longer going to do the show. Some of y'all just didn't get it. You just didn't care. Or I have offended you to the point where you're not trying to watch the show anymore. I done said something and it stuck in your craw, and you're like, the hell with it. And that includes people in my immediate family and extended family, where it's like, okay, I'm not trying to hear that from you. All right, we got a comment. Tanya Carter, thank you for checking in. You said, continue pushing forward. Much love and prayers. I thank you for that. Now, granted, since I made this announcement, there have been a few people who have reached out to me and said, okay, you shouldn't feel like that. You should still do the show. It's cool. You doing your thing. You expressing your opinion. It's not a bootleg or nothing like that. We like the sets and stuff you create. We like the promos and the commercials and whatnot. Make no mistake, people. I'm not done podcasting, period. I am not disheartened to that degree at all. I enjoy being a podcaster. I enjoy having a podcast network. I enjoy helping the other people in my network. Shout out to Rumble Time and, of course, Indie Experience and Straight Sports Talk with Coach B, Guru Sports Session, and Guru's Perspective. Shout out to my partners in the Nighthawk Network, the Big Meech and the No Weapon Formed Against Us on Sister Talk Radio with my cousin, Dr. Marla Pacey. Shout out to Pastor Sean Love, Pastor Sean Love Presents, and all of that. I enjoy those shows. I will continue to support those shows. I will continue to broadcast those shows. For those that I produce, I will continue to produce those shows. Absolutely. I'm not done with any of that. Am I done with my personal podcast? No. I'm just done with this in this format, okay? I do feel there are other shows that I can do that I will attempt to do later on down the line, Lord willing, that will be more entertaining, more appetite, will get more viewership than what I'm doing here, okay? For example, if we talk about my Facebook or my Instagram page, most of the things that I get views and likes on are not anything related to the podcast at all. It's on the two other things that are great interest to me. Things I post about the city and things I post about food. As you guys know, I am a cook. I've been catering service, so on and so forth. When I post some of the things I've cooked or catered, I tend to get a lot of views and likes on those things, a lot of comments. Just the discussion of food, I get more commentary than what I'm getting here tonight doing the show. I posted something the other day, because it was a legit, inquiry. What type of dressing could I get that was different than the usual stuff, which was ranch, blue cheese, Thousand Island? Didn't want any of those. What dresses could I get instead? Got several responses on the page, couple responses in the messenger and what have you. Just about salad dressing, okay? More so than I would get when I post, okay, I'm going on the air tonight, talk about this and this, join in the comments. Because I always wanted you to feel comfortable in the comments. Now, some of y'all view the show, and you've told me you view the show, but you don't always put your comments because you don't want to put your face in the place for public consumption. You do realize if you would have sent those comments to the messenger, as a couple people have over the years, I could keep you anonymous and just state your point and let people know how you felt about it. We could have worked out a way to where we could have had people call in live and remain anonymous and so on. We could have did a lot of different things. Probably still could, truth. It was ways around those things. Because it's just as important for me to have some of your voices heard as it was for my voice to be heard to some of y'all. Unfortunately, I am at the point now where not so much that I don't care, but it just no longer seems like a battle I want to fight anymore on that. Okay? And I don't want you sitting here thinking I'm like, woe is me. Damn, it's fucked up. I'm feeling bad for myself. Nothing like that at all. Like I said, life goes on. I just realized that a lot of my opinions are either those that are so different that you can't consider them, or you just don't care what I think. Because many of the people out there in this world, even about self. And yes, I do care about myself. I get that, but I don't ever want it to be viewed as I am selfish. There are two people that are very close to me who called me selfish at some point in life. And I felt so very much some type of way. Because particularly in those two people's lives, some of the things I did was instrumental in their well-being. So for them to turn around and call me selfish, I felt was very misinformed. And for those people who know me well and know what I'm about and who I do and what I've done over the years, you know me not to be that type of person at all. So me doing this show was me not being selfish, me making myself available to tell y'all and teach y'all and inform y'all about things that just wasn't out there like that we didn't talk about enough, that people needed to know. I mean, we talked about a lot of the AI space this season, for example. Y'all seeing it for yourself now in real time. AI is a thing, okay? When I first started feeling it like that, I started talking about it. Now y'all all know it. Y'all all see it for yourself. It's growing every day by leaps and bounds. And 5 years from now, this whole setup will probably be different because of the AI integration of it all. Okay? That's why these podcasts look and sound better every day. Keeping in mind that I'm sitting here with a $10 camera and a $15 microphone. But I sound like a TV studio. I look like a TV studio on a platform that costs about $30 a month. It's as simple as that. And you don't even need all of that. You can simply just go on your Facebook page and go live. Boom, you a pod. I go on live every Tuesday, such and such and such. I'm going to talk about sewing. Boom, you got a sewing podcast. You see what I'm saying? Now you may want it to look better, sound better, have graphics and all of that good stuff. I get that. But for the most part, if you just want to put the basic information out there, it's as simple as that. Boom, bada bing. So yeah, at some point in life, there will be other individual pod shows that I will try to do. Like I said, if I am alive and well, when I'm ready to do those things. But for now, I think it's better to shut this down. So, big question. When are we going to call it quits for good? I am Nighthawk, the pod show. The last episode will be 2 weeks from today. So, December 21st will be the final episode of I Am Nighthawk. I will take that time to thank and reminisce and talk about a lot of things that I've talked about over the years and a lot of people I've talked to and specifics and whatnot. I will have my last little say so when it comes to some of that stuff. But also, I will say goodbye and keep it pushing. Because in the end, things change, life change, people change, situations change. That is the case, and such is such. It's all good, people. It's all good. Now, here's the thing. There will be another show that will put in the place of I Am Nighthawk starting in January. That show is going to be entitled Two Unks Talking TV. So me and my partner, my podcast brethren, Hugh Lee, during this time of night on Sunday, once the beginning of the year starts, because we always take the last couple of weeks off from the network, so people had time to deal with their families and whatnot. I can reset and all that. When we come back, we're gonna talk TV. Okay, classic TV shows, classic movies, classic stuff from back in the day, because that's a lot of the stuff we like to talk about when we kick it. So we're gonna share some of those conversations with you. So, what we want to hear from you guys? What are some of your favorite shows you want us to talk about? What's some of your favorite movies? Okay. We're going to give you a little taste of that next week on I Am Nighthawk, because we're going to give you another sample show of Two Unks Talking TV. The two shows we are looking to talk about next week are The Facts of Life and Family Ties. So on Two Unks Talking TV next week, as part of the I Am Nighthawk Pod Show, we are going to talk about, again, Facts of Life and Family Ties. Okay? Quick little example of what we'll discuss is, did you know that they were actually considering making a reboot of Facts of Life? It makes sense because, right around the pandemic time is when everybody decided, we miss the old TV, especially since a lot of what they were showing was the old TV. Yeah, we want some of those shows to come back, or we want to know what happened to some of those characters years later. So we got shows like Fuller House and reboots of Punky Brewster and Bel Air and things of that nature. So in that vein, Facts of Life, we're talking about making a comeback. But it didn't go on for some very interesting reasons. We will talk about that amongst the discussion we had next week. So again, I Am Nighthawk again next Sunday at 9. Me and my partner Hugh Lee, we will be talking TV. Two Unks Talking TV about the Facts of Life and, again, Family Ties, to show Family Ties. All right? So tune in for that and check it on out. And again, if you have shows that you definitely want us to get into and talk about, so y'all can jump in the comments and have y'all discussion with it as well, please inform us. You can hit me up on my Facebook page in the Messenger, or you can also hit me up on my Instagram, which is EricHawk45. That is EricHawk45 on IG. Okay, check it out. Leave us a DM about, we want you to talk about Jefferson. We want you to talk about Cosby Show. We want whatever show it is that you want us to talk about, that we got some familiarity with or could get some familiarity with, we will throw in the mix and eventually have that discussion about that show. All right? That's how we're going to do that. So that being said, y'all, we're going to call it an evening. Thanks for the few people who have tuned in. Thank you, Miss Carter, for being the only person who commented live again. Why do the show when the show is already done? My show has officially jumped the shark, and I know it. I know when to walk away. 2 weeks from now, I'm out. But tonight, I'm out now. Love y'all. Peace.